All right. Yes, yes, yes. We are here. Welcome to We Do It For the Culture Radio, where our stories matter. We are your wonderful hosts. It's me, I lover, Tina Medina, and Nathan Minutes. Please say what's up to the beautiful people, please.
What's up? What's up?
Hey y'all.
Yeah, we here in the place to be. Uh we're gonna um we're gonna rewind the tape on y'all just a little bit, and we're gonna get caught up on COVID-19. We haven't tapped on the COVID-19 for weeks now, so we feel like we're going to tap back into a little bit, whatever, and see what's going on with it. There was some stuff circulating yesterday about a doctor, Stella Immanuel, caught a lot of flack for her views on how COVID-19 could be tackled. So we're gonna get into all of that. I know we're starting late. We're gonna take a real quick break while we get our thoughts together. It's not gonna be the usual one. We're gonna just do it real quick and we'll be right back. So tell your mother, tell a friend. We do it for the Culture Radio, and let's get right in when we come back from the break, y'all. All right, all right, all right. We do it for the Culture Radio. The crew is here. Me, Main the Menace,
Yes,
Tina
yes.
Medina, and we're going to let's get caught up, y'all. I mean, there's a lot been going on. The numbers have risen. There's a lot of speculation going on, and of course, everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their views of what's going on with COVID-19. So let's jump right in. Before the break, Tina and I were having a little discussion about the results. Are the results being manipulated to look higher than what they really are? Tina begs to differ. She does not believe that. Tina, I'm going to give you just a quick couple of minutes. Give us your philosophy and how you feel like as far as the results are, and then I'll jump in and make it also chime in. Go ahead. Because
So what I was saying earlier is that um people may have other underlying conditions, right? Like they may have like cancer, or let's go with cancer. They may have cancer, and even if that cancer is killing them, if they contract COVID, that's what they die of. Even if the cancer would have killed them in 5 weeks, but the COVID's killing them now, it's what's killing them now. Also, don't forget this shithole president that we have doesn't want our numbers to be high, right? He's trying to mask, he's trying to make it seem like the US is handling this well. We are the worst developed country that's handling this. The worst by far handling this. Everybody else is handling it better except for Brazil and like maybe Venezuela, right? But so he's not trying to have no high numbers, right? So I feel like what's happening right now is the same thing that was happening during like the Enlightenment period, right? It's just like science versus everything else, right? Scientists aren't out here trying to have high numbers, I don't think. I don't feel like scientists are like, hey, let's have a COVID party and have as many people have COVID as possible. No, I think that they're like, okay, I've been studying this my whole life. This is how viruses work. This is what we can do to save you. Please listen to us so we can try and save as many people as we can. I don't think that this is a no-brainer. It's just like it's just a no-brainer for me.
Man, the minutes. What's your outlook on this, man? The minutes.
I think it's just I don't know. I don't know if people have it, if they don't, if they die from it, if they're not. Right about now, um, I seen D.L. Hughley pass out on stage. All of a sudden, he had COVID-19. I seen like people have, like she said, other issues, health issues that's about to kill them as soon as possible, but because they contracted COVID-19, it goes down as COVID-19 if they die from that or not because they had COVID-19 in their system. So it's like, how bad is it? What's the percentage of people that are healthy? What's the percentage of people that are on the verge of dying or in between? They don't give you those stats because they probably really not, in that measure of talking.
So I guess for me, it's just like, okay, if you have cancer, let's just say let's say you have cancer, right? And let's say in the normal course of events, in the normal course of treatment of cancer, in the normal whatever, you would have died 8 weeks from now, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say, right? Like if we could have a crystal ball and be like, okay, you would have died 8 weeks from now, but you contracted COVID, and so you're dying today instead of 8 weeks from now. You're dying of COVID, right? Because who knows what could have happened in that 8 weeks? Maybe the treatment would have started working or whatever, but it didn't. And you were already weakened because you already had something in your system that was like destroying your cells and making things more difficult for you. So you couldn't fight an additional virus. You didn't have it in you, right? Whereas those of us who are more healthy can fight it, possibly survive it. But even then, those of us will be left with a like permanent injury for the rest of our lives, whether it be like diminished lung capacity, whatever it is. So I think
right?
I don't think that makes it a lie, because like, yeah, okay, cancer was probably going to kill you in the next 6 to 8 months, but COVID got to you first. That doesn't make it a lie. It's still what killed you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you're saying they don't fabricate the numbers?
I don't think they fabricate the numbers. I don't. I don't.
4 million people.
I don't.
Tested for COVID.
It's worldwide. So you're saying the entire world is conspiring to make numbers higher? Why?
I don't think the whole world's well.
Talk about the United States.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt it if the whole, like I said, the WHO was not just domiciled to the United States. The WHO was all over the place. The WHO was in all these countries, right? The World Health Organization. They are affiliated not with just the United States. They are affiliated with the United Nations. Okay, so when I say that the results have been hidden, I'm saying that it's been proven. I mean, you have there's cases out there where the results have been fabricated. There are people who I mean, it's people online talking about how they did the test online and had to go into
People were
CPS.
online talking about they were abducted by aliens. You can't believe shit that somebody.
What I'm saying is that they've done the testing, right? They've gone through the whole process of trying to get in tested for COVID-19, and the only thing they had to do was go into the pharmacy, CVS, whatever the case may be, to take the actual test, whatever. The test for some people were so long that they decided not to take the test. They decided, you know what, to go home, and they were still getting results saying that they were diagnosed with COVID-19. They didn't even take the test.
They
That's
didn't
what I'm
even
saying.
take the
Can
A
test
lot of these
you
results
because it
send
was
me,
there. They had it.
can you send me links to that? I can't speak to something I don't know.
Well, I do know there's 4 million cases in the United States this year, this month.
Because we are the worst developed country that's handling it because we have a fucking 4-year-old that runs the country.
Okay, so let's just say, okay, so we know that it's over 4 million, right? It's like what, four
Oh, four
million
million.
300,000?
Contracted, not
That's
died.
too many. Goddamn it.
4 million didn't die.
No, 4 million not, but
No
there's over 4 million cases, right? So check
cases.
this out. There's over 4 million cases, and the death total is what, 133,000?
149,000. I
I
think.
don't know what the number is right now. Yeah, is that
So
right?
141,000.
roughly about 149,000. So over 4,339,000 cases, and 130 something thousand people have died from it. So that's what, less than 5%. That's roughly almost 4%. So out of over 4 million people, 4% has died from it. I ain't talking about 60%. I'm not talking about 40%, 30, 20. I'm talking about less than almost 4% have died from it. So why is this a pandemic?
Right. And who? And what was the percentage of the people that were sick or
Pandemic
healthy?
because it's around the world. All right, so Calvin, so tell me how.
Even around the world, even if you look at the cases around the world, it's still less than 5% from around the world
So wait,
that
so
died from this thing.
what percentage of your
I
family
thought that
are
was
you
in
going
America.
to donate?
I'm no, even in
What
America.
percent? No. I mean, tell me, pick out the people in your family, 5% of your family that you are willing to pick out and be like, okay, you could die. You tell me 5%. I want names. I want names and
Yeah, but you're
addresses
coming from an
of
emotional
people in your
standpoint. He's coming
family
from
that you're willing to
a
say
statistic standpoint.
that's okay. It's okay. That's an okay amount of people to die because I don't need to worry about it.
No,
Right?
we're not
So
saying that.
that's the problem. No, that's what he is saying.
No, that's what you're taking in. He's
You're
not saying that.
you're saying 5% of the population is not a big deal, but if you narrow that 5% down to 5% of your family, all of a sudden it's a big deal. It's a big deal. 5% is a big deal. If it was 1%, is a big deal. It's a big deal. People are
Yeah, absolutely.
dying.
That's beside the point. He's talking about as far as it being this big hoopla that you're gonna get it and die. It only killed this many people,
Yeah,
meaning
but
the rating of the death.
you're
To
making
I've seen
the
more
mistake of
people.
thinking that only death is the biggest problem. For first of all, from what I understand, the treatment is horrific, and the second
No,
thing,
you said the death isn't the biggest problem. What?
death is not the biggest problem because obviously death is a big big problem, but it's not the only problem. It's just like, okay, so you won't die from it, but you're going to have lifelong effects from it, and the treatment is painful and long lasting. So it's just like, it's not just like, okay, well, yeah, you got it, you're healthy enough to survive it, okay, wonderful for you, but you're going
But
to
it's
have
just the virus, though,
effects.
right? Isn't just the virus? You think you're gonna tell me it's gonna like have long lasting effects where you're
Yeah,
like damaged from it?
lung issues. There's
I gotta
long
see interviews on that.
lasting lung issues.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that.
And so it's just like okay, so like you're not going to be as healthy as before. And so let's say okay, you're 22 now and you survive it, but you've got lung damage or you whatever damage for the rest of your life. So let's say later in life you have other issues. Now you're going to build that on top of this damage that's lifelong. You're not going to survive that as well as you would have had you had a healthy system. It's just
I have not heard. I have not heard where a virus will give you will give you lung problems going forward. I have heard where if you
I will
already
find
have
it.
underlying issues, that's where the problem lies.
It enhances it.
Okay, so check this out. Worldwide, worldwide, got this? 17,163,725 cases. Okay, we got that right.
Mhm.
Deaths, total deaths. I'm not talking about United States. Total deaths now. We're talking about 669,110 have died from it. Again, we're talking about all around the world. Less than 5% people have died from this thing.
Why is that an acceptable number to you?
24%.
Why is that an acceptable number to you? I don't understand why that number is acceptable.
It's supposed to be a pandemic. Hold on, there's supposed to be statistics. Whenever there's a pandemic, it's supposed to be you're supposed to have a certain amount of deaths for it to even be considered a pandemic.
No, it's a pandemic because it's across the world.
Criteria to even be a pandemic.
What?
It doesn't meet the requirements because there's not enough deaths. You're supposed to reach us before something can be considered a pandemic. I forgot what the exact number was, but it's not this number. It has to meet a certain criteria of a certain amount of deaths before it can be considered a pandemic.
No,
This
it
right
has a
here,
certain amount of deaths, and it's worldwide.
this
It's
right here is
Let me
minute.
just look it up.
the pan part of demic is that it's across the world. That's all these countries have experienced it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is they're making this thing seem so grim, like it's the worst thing in the world. When it's only 5% people have died from around the world. You mean to tell me out of 17 million people, not even 1 million people have died from this, and you make it seem like it's the worst thing since death itself? Come on.
No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying
That's
it's the worst thing
what they
to
make
death
it
itself.
seem like, though.
They're saying that if you don't take protection, it could be much worse.
Okay,
So countries who actually took this seriously, not ours because our country is garbage, but the other countries who took it seriously and locked down and did all the stuff right or whatever are seeing a turnaround, and they're like they're seeing they were able to squash it. This is why the United States is banned from going anywhere because we're garbage. We're so like we're running around being like nah, all of this is conspiracy. Meanwhile, we have evidence from other countries that this worked for them, and they don't have any new cases. We have
exactly. But
we're
the other
pushing
companies are
records.
not tainted like we are. We're tainted. We're tainted. There's an agenda behind this. There's an agenda behind it. I'm gonna tell you
We're
what.
pushing because people are posting shit online talking about masks are not necessary. Calvin,
Labs are being tainted. Their pockets are being lined by the WHO, by the big pharmaceutical companies, and this is why they're doing what they're doing because
They can make you apologize.
There's a bigger agenda at play for this thing,
what?
and that's what they're doing. What?
What's the agenda?
Let's talk about the vaccine for starters, okay? Like we talked about early on, we talked about this months and months ago. If they
When it
even
first
tried
started,
to
we talked
implement,
about it.
if they even tried to implement a vaccine, if they tried to force people to take a vaccine, what the people gonna do? They're gonna rebel, right? I'm not taking no vaccine. Hell no, you ain't making me take no vaccine. But if they scare the people enough, if they scare you enough, then they ain't gotta force you to do anything. You're gonna be lining up to get it just because you're scared.
How many people do you know have polio?
I don't know anyone who has polio.
Right, because there's a vaccine.
Okay, but was there a pandemic for it? For polio?
Oh my God,
Was
dude!
polio a pandemic?
Medicine is not here to
Was
destroy.
polio a pandemic? It wasn't a pandemic. We're talking about a
And
pandemic.
no, I'm talking about these were things that people were often diagnosed with and died of years ago, like measles, mumps, rubella. These are all these things that we get vaccinated for now are things that people used to die for in large numbers.
So it's COVID-19. It's COVID-19. It was compared to the Spanish flu, dealing with this day and time and that timing. You know, right now the timing that it started. What did it start here? Like January or something like that. So we got like 7-8 months.
It started really gaining traction in January. It was supposed to have started towards the end of
But whenever it started,
yeah.
when the Spanish flu started, how long did that last? And how was this? Did this meet up to the requirements of it being a disaster, such as the Spanish flu, or is it like Nothing
talking
compared
about
to
the
it.
Spanish flu. We talking about Ebola. We talking about I can go on and on. All these so-called viruses that were supposed to be so dreadful and not supposed to just wipe out the whole world or whatever. You know what I mean? And now we've been pandemic, and like I said, these lab results they're being tainted. Dr. Fauci, he's been compromised.
He has not.
Yes, he has.
Dr. Fauci has not been
Dr. Fauci's been compromised, man.
No, dude,
the
no,
big pharmaceutical, the
no,
big pharmaceutical companies are in his state. They're paying this man.
no,
Bill
they-
Gates.
no.
Bill Gates is paying this man. All these people are paying this man to say, yes, this is so bad. We got to wear masks. Oh, we can't go back to life as normal. Why? Because they want to implement this vaccine. That's exactly what they
You
want.
want to believe
And
that?
not only that,
You wanna believe
they want to depopulate the black and brown companies. And this is the perfect way to do it. Now, say I'm wrong.
Dr. Fauci.
All right, so what next?
Dr. Fauci is an epidemiologist who has a crystal clean record. The man is sitting there getting shit on by this bullshit president every day, and he's still contradicting him, even though it's not in his best interest, even though he's getting death threats, even though people are turning against him. Yeah, he's getting death threats because
he's been getting them.
Yeah, he's been getting death threats. He's been getting all this stuff, and
everybody know he's a fraud.
No, all the time he's saying, "Listen, this is how viruses work. This is what you got to do to try to defend against it. Not to say it's going to be perfect, but it's the best you can do against a virus.
He can't be trusted.
He's never
He can't be trusted.
Bullshit.
He can't be trusted.
I trust him with my kids.
He's being subsidized.
Everybody.
He's being subsidized by the WHO. He's being subsidized by the WHO, Bill Gates, and the big pharmaceutical companies. That's why Trump said, I want nothing to do with him. That's why Trump let him go.
Trump is a 5-year-old who doesn't understand how to walk down the street without tripping over his feet. Bullshit that fucking fucker knows.
You can call him what you want. I'll tell you one thing. The biggest and the best decision he made was to drop Dr. Fauci and to drop the WHO, which is the World Health Organization. That's the biggest thing he could have did. Best decision he could have made.
Really? Because he's a white supremacist. Is he looking out for you?
I don't care about that. I can't go into this.
I can't look at this
unbiased. I can't look at this unbiased. I'm not going
You don't care that he's a white supremacist. You don't care.
I'm not talking about white supremacy right now.
I'm talking about the fact that you think a white supremacist.
I can't look at this unbiased. I can't say because I
looking out for you. That's all you need to tell me right now is that you think a white supremacist is looking out for you.
But listen, you can't look at this blindly because you're biased. That doesn't help the situation.
That's too much.
You got to take the information and you got to dissect it for yourself.
That's a fact.
And do your own research. You just can't be biased because
I'm not biased. I have a man who has a crystal clean record, and we have a fucking reality show dickhead who doesn't know shit from Shinola, but he's sitting there telling us what's right and what's wrong, and you're gonna go with that dude? You're gonna go with that dude?
I'll tell you what I will do. I would trust Dr. Stella Immanuel over Dr. Fauci.
This bitch who thinks that you get sexually transmitted diseases from demons? That bitch?
I would trust her over. I would trust her over. I trust over Dr. Fauci.
I can't help you.
She sounded convincing when I saw her thing, and I was thinking, like, what is this?
Hydrochloroquine. But here's the thing, though. That lady has treated over 300 patients. Dr. Fauci hasn't seen a patient
350 patients.
Dr. Fauci hasn't treated a patient in over 30 years.
Shots fired.
You know what I mean?
He hasn't treated over 30 years because
he's just talking, Tina.
She's getting results. Dr. Fauci hasn't treated a patient over 30 years.
My dude, this
lady is getting results, Tina.
Take a break because I need to
She's
walk.
on the front line. She's dealing with customers firsthand.
I need to walk around. Can we take a break? I need to walk. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk either way. I'm walking. I'll see you.
Okay. Listen.
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci has not treated a patient in over 30 years, brother. He hasn't touched a patient in over 30 years. This lady right here.
So he's just talking.
He's just talking. This lady been treating patients. They're trying to discredit her the same way they did Dr. Sebi. You know what I mean?
They took her stuff off of Facebook.
Yeah.
Try to erase her off of social media.
Listen, man, when you don't follow the status quo, they're gonna try to discredit you the same way they did Dr. Sebi.
I mean, she was in Washington calling them out.
Exactly.
So what you gonna say? Who she had behind her? Wasn't Donald Trump there?
Listen, Donald Trump. He was. I don't know if he was there, but I
I
think
seen
he
somebody in the
co-signs
back
it.
with orange hair, look like him.
He co-signs it. But this lady
Oh,
here,
okay.
which when it comes out that this lady here, what she's talking about as far as the antibiotics and all that, when
Hmm.
it comes out that it's true, they're gonna be saying to her like they doing Dr. CB now. Oh, we should have listened to her. But because she done meet status quo, and she's talking about, they say, she said, the big pharmaceutical companies was doing something with aliens for DNA. Come on, man. Anybody,
Oh,
anybody
that
who
sounds
anybody
crazy
who's ever
though.
been in the medical industry knows when you use the word, they're not talking about something that's extraterrestrial. They're talking about when they mean
Right.
something that's foreign. They're
Okay.
talking about. Even in the insurance industry where I'm from, when we say there's a company that's let's say there's a company that's from Canada, but he's doing business in the United States as an insurance company. That company is considered a foreign company. But we use the word alien. It's called the alien company.
Right.
So the word alien, the terminology in the medical field is used for something totally different. It doesn't mean extraterrestrial.
Yes.
And that's what they're trying to convince people of that. Oh, she's talking about extraterrestrial.
Right.
That's
They
not the
do
case.
that well. The media does spin things very well, but
And
yeah.
as far as demons are concerned, she's a pastor. Every pastor in the world believes in demons if they read the Bible, right? It's all in the
That's
Bible
everything
about
negative
demons.
is a demon to a pastor.
Yeah.
I
All
thought you were
pastors in the
atheist.
world, if they live by the Bible, they talk about demons because demons is in the Bible. And she's a pastor.
Yo, you gotta big up your man now, Tina, because he coming with facts and receipts. So
There's
you
no
gotta talk
facts
to
or
him about.
receipts. You can't fabricate facts or receipts.
She said it in their face in Washington though.
This woman is insane. She thinks
Why?
Even listen, we got Bo
Yo,
Carter
listen.
chiming in
Thinking
the
about
conversation right
talking
now.
about her, just let
Bo
her put some
Carter
work
said
in.
that Dr. Immanuel treated over 300 patients with no casualties. That's real statistics right there.
well,
300 patients with no casualties, and
I
Dr.
300
Fauci
patients.
hasn't treated one patient over 30 years.
300? So you're saying, wait, 300? 300 over how long? 300? You can see
Herself.
patients in a month.
She not. I mean, come on. You acting like she not doing it though.
This woman is talks about demon sperm.
Forget
And
about all that.
Pastor,
like,
We're talking about what she's
place
doing
for
in
God
the
in
physical
medicine.
world.
There's no place for God in medicine. There's medicine and then there's God. You can believe in God if you want to, but there's medicine and science. This woman is insane.
she's a doctor,
You're a
But
doctor. She's
here's
not
my
a
problem.
scientist.
Here's my problem.
and she's
You're
treating
more,
patients.
this is where I have the issue.
Wait, before you go on a rant. Wait, listen, just listen. Whoever gets it, just try to give him the recipe that she said, the remedy that she came up with. Let's see if it works.
Wait,
What they
what?
gotta lose? The hydrochloroquine and
The
the zinc.
hydrochloroquine, and she
It
said
doesn't work with
the
scientific
zinc and some
Nah,
antibiotics.
man. No, it's not the worst, yo. I don't think so.
people have taken it and died.
People probably gonna die anyway if they took anything,
Oh my God.
right? You gotta give it some. You
You
gotta give somebody a chance. Come on. Every
You can
time there's a good cure or somebody who claims to have the cure, they come up missing. So she's out here. We seen her. Somebody protect her so she
She
can
might come
victimize
up
that
missing.
shit in America and see what happens.
We are so fucked as a
If she
country.
comes up missing, that
We're
shit was
so
true.
Check it out though.
This is
Listen,
why we're the worst country dealing with this. This is why, because we have
I
these
guess that was a liberal thing.
conspiracies. No, because the rest of the countries are out there like, look, this is what you got to do. We got to quarantine. We got to wear masks.
Yeah, that's
We got
that ain't
to.
happening here.
why are
Not
we doing
happening
what
here.
other companies are
They've
doing though?
gotten
Tina?
past
Why are we
it.
doing what Sicily did? Why are we doing what Sicily did?
What does Sicily do? Because
Sicily-
Italy locked down.
I'm gonna tell you what Sicily did.
What?
Sicily went against protocol. The protocol was if you get a patient that has COVID-19 and they die, exterminate the body immediately. No funeral. Exterminate the body. Bury the body immediately. Don't do no autopsy. Don't do no results. Right. So everybody listen to what they. So now Sicily said, you know what? We need to find out what the hell is really going on. So Sicily started doing autopsies. And they started finding out exactly why people were really dying. And they was able to find out by treating people with simple antibiotics. They was able to get rid of COVID-19. And this is how Sicily, who was one of the top countries, I ain't gonna say countries, but they was tops in COVID-19 cases is now down to a minimum, and we're still doing the same thing because we're going towards the status quo of what CDC and Dr. Fauci and all these are saying. No, we need to do what Sicily was doing. You saw the video I sent you about Sicily. Did you see that, man?
No, I didn't see that one.
I sent y'all a video about what Sicily was doing with their case or whatever, and how they were able to go from being one of the number ones to being to basically being down to the lowest sector of people with COVID-19 because of antibiotics, simple antibiotics, and they don't want you to know that because they want you to believe that this thing is so bad so that they can implement their vaccine and implement their agenda of depopulating the world. That's what this
Okay,
is
so
all about.
there's two remedies.
Exactly.
That's two for you, Tina. What's Saucy or Susie? What's his name?
Dr. Who,
What's
Dr.
he coming up with? Dr. Hoosie?
Fauci.
Listen,
Fauci. It's Fauci.
Dr.
Dr. Fauci is a legit man. Like he's,
and this lady's a legit
she is not. She is not. She's a crackpot.
Wow.
What the fuck?
She's a doctor. She's
insane.
been a doctor. She's been a
She's a
doctor since
crackpot.
19 she's been a doctor since 1990.
What?
She's been a doctor since 1990. She has her
Dr.
own
Fauci's
practice.
been a doctor since like 1980.
She has her own practice.
Yeah, he outdated.
Oh my god,
This
dude!
is too advanced for
What are
him.
you talking about? If I've been working the same job for this 30 years or 40 years or whatever, I'm gonna be pretty damn good at it.
Listen, I'm going to get you those results from Sister. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We do it for the Culture Radio. Don't leave. It's getting good up in here. We'll be right back.
Crazy! This is crazy! I can't.
All right. Thank you for staying with us here at We Do It for the Culture Radio, where our stories matter. If you've been listening along with us, you know we've been talking about COVID-19. We've also been talking about Dr. Stella Immanuel, Dr. Fauci. Why are they trying to discredit Dr. Stella Immanuel, who has her own practice, who's been a doctor since 1990, has treated 300 patients with no casualties, as opposed to Dr. Fauci, who has not treated a patient in over 30 years. I was just listening to a video that I sent to you guys. I don't know if you guys checked your inbox. I sent it to you guys. It was showing how Sicily was able to break protocol with what the WHO was telling us to do and the CDC, which was to not do any autopsies. When Sicily decided to break protocol and do autopsies, they found that this was,
Yeah, I
which
saw
really,
this.
it really wasn't a virus at all. It really came down, these people have blood clots. And what's killing people are the blood clots. That's why the ventilators, I even had a guy on CNN, I can't remember the doctor's name, who said, if we know what we had known then, we would have not put patients on ventilators. We found out that ventilators were hurting the people more than helping them. And he said this live on CNN. What Sicily has done is said, listen, we've given our patients a simple regimen of aspirin and something called a Pronex, which is to help to keep the blood from being thick, whatever. What you call it when a blood thinner,
Blood
basically.
thinners.
Yes, and this with that regimen alone, they've cut down to basically almost no casualties when it comes to COVID-19 because it's nothing but a simple blood clot.
So what you're saying is that science fixed it.
I'm saying that scientists have listen. Didn't we talk about the ID 2020 months ago? Do you remember the ID 2020? The ID 2020, which was a summit, well, over had to be over maybe 600,000 CEOs for Fortune 500 companies, all that was at this summit and knew all about this whole COVID-19. They already knew that's called COVID-19 because they already knew what was going to be happening at the end of 2019. That's why it was called ID 2020. At the end of 2019, you had over,
Identify 2020.
yeah, ID 2020. You had over, what it says, over 100,000 CEOs who stepped down. Google it. You got your Google right now. Google
Yeah,
how
that's true.
many CEOs stepped down from their positions from January 2020. Go ahead, Tina, and tell me how many there were.
I'm looking.
Okay,
Yeah, I saw
and
it too.
they all stepped down because
That
they
shit was swept
knew,
under the rug.
huh?
That shit was swept under the rug.
Oh yeah, they stepped down because they knew what was coming and they knew what was going to do to the economy. They knew what was going to do to businesses, and they stepped down before the shit hit the fan. They said they want no parts of it. We're going to be bringing LaShawn Monique, one of our regulars, to the show. Please welcome LaShawn Monique to the show. She's stuffing her face. Say what's up to LaShawn Monique, y'all.
Yeah.
Fine.
We were
Hey,
talking
girl.
about
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, Nate. Hey, Calvin.
What's happening?
we're talking about COVID-19, how the results are being tainted. The lab companies,
No, Calvin's talking about that. I'm not talking about that.
the
You was
lab
mad as
companies,
hell.
I'm
the
just
lab
saying.
companies, the lab companies, along with Dr. Fauci, have all been incentivized because they were getting money from the government. If they were giving hospitals over $30,000 just to say that someone had COVID-19. Even if they had just a simple flu, you could have had an itch, and they call it COVID-19 because the hospitals and the laboratories and the doctors were all being incentivized by saying that they had it, whatever, and they were getting $30,000. If they put you on a ventilator, they got even more money. So this stuff, this is this is bigger than a virus here. There's an agenda behind this thing. And that's what we need to be focused on. The virus is just a vehicle being used for the bigger agenda, and we need to be trying to figure out what the
Right.
hell that agenda is and why. And most of us know that it's about depopulation.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm on the fence with it. First off, I want to say shout out to Tina. How are you, beautiful? Maine looking like DMX right there with them glasses on. And Lover, always a pleasure to be on. I'm on the fence because my aunt passed away from COVID. But they try to say it was something else. But I do know that when my cousin was in the hospital with COVID, she was one of the first cases in March in New York City, where on her one room, her supervisor was in and he died. The room across from her was her coworker, and he came in the day after her and he died. And she made it. And she described to me a lot. She said that when she went in, she couldn't breathe. She said that she was coughing, but nothing was coming up. And they had to give her some extremely hot liquid. It was boiling hot water as much as she can take it. And they kept patting her. And she was saying like plaquey phlegm was coming out that she's never seen before in her life, never experienced that. But then she said that there was a lady that came in who sprained her ankle. She was helping her husband do something around the house. And the husband helped her in. It was a husband and her kid. I don't know, whatever. The kid was helping her in.
I bet they diagnosed her with COVID-19. Go ahead.
They did. They said they went in. She was triaged. They said what happened, and she said, "I was helping my husband around the house. I fell. I twisted my ankle." And she said, "My cousin said she was watching everything because she was still in the not the ICU, the emergency room, because there weren't rooms available. This is when it first hit New York City."
Yeah.
She said that all she knows was the woman was cussing and screaming. She was like, "You never took my temperature. You never did a test. All you did was feel around the area. You wrapped my ankle up." And when she got the papers for her discharge, it said COVID-19, 100% oxygen. And she never had oxygen administered to her. So she went on to, she was trying to go on Facebook. She got kicked out the hospital and she went through a whole big rant. Now, my cousin can't attest to what happened after because, of course, you know, she was kicked out the hospital. So I'm really on the fence when it comes to this because I've had actual people near and dear to me who has died from this virus.
Right.
I'm convinced, I don't care what no one says, I know I had this before. Based on
I
what
don't think that's I don't think any of us are denying that the virus is real.
this is a fact of what is happening because of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the results.
Underlying issues.
The underlying issues. Okay. Now I have a homeboy, my boy Silk. I love my boy Silk. That's
a fact.
You know what I mean? And he had it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like I said, I would be basically throwing an insult to him to say that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That this isn't real because I know what he went through. And that's my boy and I love him to death. And that's why I said I got no problems with saying that this thing is real because it's definitely real. But we have to do our own due diligence. We have to look behind. I said this many times before. If you are over 30 years old and you still believe everything your government or the media tells you, you got something fucking wrong with you. You got to do your own due diligence. You have to do your own research. Don't take anything at face value.
Yeah, it's 2020. You should know that by now.
Check the information and go look it up. Google it. It's free.
Can I make a point real quick?
Go ahead.
When we first started doing these podcasts, you said this whole shit was fake.
Yeah, you did.
You said this whole shit was fake. You didn't know anybody who had COVID. This is all bullshit. You ain't wearing no mask. You wouldn't give a fuck. And now you know somebody, and now all of a sudden you give a shit. So
Okay, I will say this. I definitely said it.
No,
I
you
definitely said it. I said it, and I didn't know nobody with it.
What I'm saying is that kind of thinking permeates our culture. People are like, well, I don't know somebody, so who gives a fuck? I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to do anything to prevent it.
I still don't wear a mask. I still don't wear a mask.
Good.
You can't tell. I refuse to have that because I know people. Like I said, my aunt, she had a procedure done because she was diabetic, and the procedure she had done forced her to go to a rehab to learn how to walk again, and she caught that crap while she was in that rehab because she was fine after the procedure. She was fine. And then and I'm not going to, I promise myself I'm not going to cry because I'm so angry at how my aunt, her life was robbed from her. And I remember the day she said, I don't feel so well, Sean. I don't understand why. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she says, I feel nauseous. I feel faint. And I don't understand why. And then she was coughing and it sounded like she was drowning underwater the way she was coughing. And I was like, she caught that. I know she did. And then when I called the rehab center, they were like coughing. And I'm like, they got my aunt sick. But I honestly believe that this is part, I trade Forex, right? And one of the indices that determines the forecast of all currencies across the world are political unrest, elections, acts of war hazards, force majeure, which is act of war, of God's. And one of the things that's there, and my little cousin is watching, he can attest to this. They say that when there's something that happens that's drastic, it determines how currency is. The other day, collectively, my team and myself have earned over $8,000 in trading gold. And not just me, I'm just saying the team.
Right.
And on Friday, the team earned about $6,000 trading silver. Hear what I'm trying to say? They've been saying that we have a national coin shortage.
Right.
Where are all these coins?
Which is BS as well. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. Where are the coins at? Unless someone has an ultimate tip jar or a swear jar, where are the coins? No one's going anywhere. The register stayed put. Everything. And I said what's happening right now is people are literally being told that there are no coins. Mark my words, the next thing they're going to say is we have ones, fives, and tens. They're showing us that we do not need currency, right? And they're also showing us that they are moving towards a one currency, a global currency. Now, New Zealand, Germany, all those places that have migrated over to cryptocurrency, they have no shortages. They have everything they possibly can use as far as money is concerned. The United States, the only one that's having a faltered economy because we are the only ones who are too freaking prideful to migrate over to another system besides cash. Gold and silver.
But you have to realize, in order for them to be able to basically just to wipe out the currency, you have to be backed by resources. And this is why they killed Gaddafi, because Gaddafi was trying to implement a plan where they would get rid of the United States dollar, the whole world situation, and back all your resources and back your money by your resources. So being that Africa has all the resources, the gold, the coal, the diamonds, pretty much everything, if they would have did that, the United States would have been doomed. And that's why they had to kill that man Gaddafi, because he was one of the headlines behind it, and whatever. And he was trying to implement that. And you know what? They're still trying to do it. And like I said, we're going to be the ones on the back end of this, whatever.
We already are.
Yeah.
We already are. I can show you trades right now where the United States dollar ain't worth a bag of peanuts. Like, you know, this is what we do. And like, for example, this is, let me show you something. If you look at these quotes, and this is why I tell people they need to learn about Forex and why it's so important. The United States dollar sucks right now.
Oh, yeah, it's not worth shit. Especially, it used to be the time you could take the United States dollar in other countries, whatever, and it was worth 3 or 4 times more.
Yeah.
Countries are getting smarter.
Yeah. And they're moving to crypto and they're moving to Bitcoin, and people are understanding that. So now you have it where this traumatic event took place. You have COVID-19. You have that woman talking about having sex with demons in your dream or cure. You have all kinds of quacks giving different variances as to how you can and cannot get it. Right? So now if you look at the bigger scheme of things, economy, the pharmaceutical company gets rich off of people being sick.
Yes.
They ban people from talking about turmeric and elderberry and all these other natural homogenic paths of cure. Then all of a sudden, all these COVID-19 doctors who worked with people who had AIDS and HIV and all that, they're all of a sudden dead. So there's a lot of stuff that goes down with this. Is this disease real? I indubitably, resounding say yes.
Every doctor that's ever come up with a cure, whether it was cancer or AIDS, have all been found dead.
Every one of them.
Dead. Every single one of them. So this young lady that we're talking about, that you know, that you don't agree with, and that you think she's a fraud as well, Tina thinks she's a fraud. What's going to happen to her? What's going to happen to her? Because she's talking about aliens. Like I said, the term alien that she was using is different in medical terms.
She's talking about aliens, demons, and witches. Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
She wants me with that.
You don't even believe in Christianity. You're talking about demons and witches and whatever.
I'm talking about why. Why she says the word demon.
And I
Because
get
every
that. The
pastor
language,
believes in the word
So we
demon.
gotta translate her stupid ass, right? That's what
Right.
the fuck we gotta do. That's
and,
bullshit.
and I'm thinking,
Bullshit.
okay,
Dr. Fauci's out here like, okay, wear a mask so you don't catch some shit. You're like, oh fuck you, you're talking bullshit.
That shit is bullshit. That's
You're
why.
talking about a witch fucked you in your dreams and you caught some shit, and you're like, yeah, that's legit. That's some bullshit.
Let me ask you a
That's
question.
some bullshit.
Let me ask you.
Some
Can I
people did that.
interject for 1 second? Can I interject for 1 second? Let me ask you
You can
something.
talk whatever you want.
I don't wear a mask, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't wear a mask. I don't wear a mask unless it's mandatory, and if I go into an establishment and they say I have to wear a mask, then I will put one on. But as far as me, and as far as me being out in the universe or in the atmosphere, I'm not wearing a mask because wearing a mask is doing my immune system a disservice. My mouth and my nose was put on me to be used just the way an exhaust was used to be put on a car. It's used for me to breathe out and let the sun and the oxygen take its course and do its purpose. Because if I'm wearing a mask over my face, I'm outside all day. I'm doing this. I'm being pro. I'm being basically. I'm doing going against everything the universe is trying to do.
So you believe in the herd system where go out there, take a chance, you die, you don't, and then rebuild
I'm
your
not
immune
saying that.
system to.
I'm saying
Yeah,
by
but
wearing a
listen,
mask,
Calvin.
you're being counterproductive. That's what I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
you.
but Calvin,
How is it
listen. Hold
counterproductive?
on, hold on, hold on.
How?
Listen. You don't got to wear the mask 24/7. You only wear it when you get around people, and
When
then
you
you be about your business and take the damn mask off. You're gonna be the type with it on in your car by your fucking self. That's what you're afraid of. You
I'm
wear
talking
that
about
shit when you're
outside,
around people.
period.
Nah, you
Because
don't gotta wear it outside. Like
because
your nose out.
okay, so let me ask you a question. Let
Calvin,
me ask
what
you a
you just
question.
say?
With all the chemicals, all the toxins, all the pollution in the air, if the sun and oxygen wasn't already doing what it was supposed to do, you'd be dead already. With all the chemicals and toxins and pollution in the air, if the sun and the oxygen and the carbon wasn't doing what it's supposed to do, we'd all be dead already.
If you
But we're
within six
looking at
feet,
something
it
that
ain't
was
gonna do what it's gonna do.
but you're looking at something
The
that was
virus is.
orchestrated in a lab that
What do you-
defies the laws of
It
nature.
doesn't. It
Let me
doesn't
tell
defy
you.
the law. It does. It can never defy the laws.
Let me
of
tell you
the
something. Let me tell you
universe.
something.
Never.
I'm gonna tell you something, right? Anything that's natural can be cured by natural means. Your vegetables through water, D and vitamin D. Anything that's lab related is going to need medicine. There is a movie that's on. If it hasn't been banned, I got a clip of it. That was on Netflix. That came out in 2016, I think it was. The guy literally played it. He showed the credits when his movie came out. It was years ago. It was either 2016 or 18. And it was about a virus that attacks the lungs at 94% capacity. And it was called the coronavirus. And they said they labeled it as 2019 because it had 19 components. So I'm sitting there watching this like, wait a minute, I'm going to find it too. This was already orchestrated. This was already done. And in the movie, it says, are you saying this is worse than SARS? They said this is SARS times 100 because they said the actual diseases that they mutated with SARS, it has a 80% fatality rate. And it was an actual movie. I'm going to find the
That's
clip.
the problem. Art is supposed to
Yeah, it said
imitate life.
coronavirus. Then, didn't it?
Art is
Not
supposed
an
to
Asian movie,
imitate
is
life.
it?
Life is not supposed to imitate art. That's exactly what the damn problem is. And like I said, when you're wearing that mask, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because your body is supposed to be
I
breathing
do not
out.
support this message.
Yeah, but listen, our family members. My wife had it. She wore a mask. Doesn't matter. She was in freaking working in the hospital. She had a mask on. So if you
Yeah,
don't
but
got one on, it just
in the
depends.
hospital.
But
I mean, like,
when you wear a mask all day outside, you're preventing your body from getting the clean carbon dioxide that God intended for your body to have in the first place. That's
Yo,
what.
listen, my brother, you being stubborn. I just gave you game. You don't
What?
wear the mask all goddamn day unless you like
I'm
in the
talking about outside
hospitals.
in general. I'm talking about
Yeah, that's what I'm
outside.
trying to tell you. When you're outside,
found
nobody's around you. You don't have to wear the mask. What do you got
No,
the
when
mask
I
on
come
for?
when I
So
come
what
out
you
the
think?
grocery
You
You
get in
think
the car.
grocery
You get in the
store,
car.
think
You drive the car with the mask on by yourself. That's
you
crazy.
think outside in the open that the virus can travel from me to you outside? Now, if you're
No,
inside, well,
no.
that's why people play. What's the name of that people that
6
drug?
feet. 6
What's
feet.
that stuff airborne that people take when they get on planes because they
No,
believe
she ain't
that?
airborne.
yeah,
Okay,
it's called airborne.
That shit
okay, it's
has
called
come out of your
airborne.
fucking
So when
face.
you are inside someplace where germs can be trapped and inside whatever, I can understand you wearing a mask because you're indoors. The germs have nowhere to go.
So what are you saying?
But outside, the germ is not going to travel from you to the outside. Let the universe do what it's supposed to do. That's what the carbon is for. That's
You
what
ain't
the sun is
listening.
for.
You're not
Wait,
listening.
I'm confused.
That's
I feel
what I
like
told him.
thing.
He don't make no sense, yo. I told you only got to wear it when you're around people. That's exactly what you just said.
Listen, take what I say and go do the research and tell me if I'm still wrong after you research it.
I know that Immanuel lady is a psychopath, and if any of y'all listen to her and take her as for word, and not listen to Fauci, who's like not asking you to do anything crazy, but wear
What?
masks and wash your
Even
hands.
Trump denounced her like recently. He was like, he even said he misspoke by endorsing her.
Oh, hey, listen,
She's a
call her what you want it.
psychopath.
They're gonna call her collect. How about that?
She's a psychopath.
All I'm
Look, I
saying is
found
whatever
the
she's
clip.
saying
You
doesn't
talk
matter.
about wait, hold on. Let me
It's what she's done.
I looked it up
You
during the
give her a
break.
shot. Give it
She
one shot. Let's see what
She
happens.
thinks endometriosis is caused by demons during your dreams. She thinks hydrochloroquine is effective to treat coronavirus, even though several studies found it's not. She thinks that any gynecological issues is because you had sex with demons. She thinks that infertility, miscarriages, and STIs were caused from evil deposits.
You're digressing.
Also
What's that
think
got to do with the coronavirus?
medicine is because we got DNA from space aliens.
Right. But
And this
that's
is
the
the
credibility of
person
this
you want to
woman.
put your name behind and be like, okay, this is okay. This is great.
Yo, listen, other doctors are crazy too. Like, so what?
Yeah,
We
but
don't. She can believe what she want to believe. I want to see her.
DNA is sperm. Like, really? Unless
I
you want
want to
someone
see.
X. I mean, like, come on.
I
But
just want to
that's
see
the
what.
episode. That's it right there. If
Okay.
it's still on Netflix, you could Google it. It's called My Secretariats, episode 10. Came out 2018, right? It shows a man in the hospital with the same exact symptoms. I had to screen record it because, the screen record committee shows it all, right?
That's
So there's
porn on your phone right there. We're looking at porn on your phone right now.
no daggone porn, right? But what I'm trying to show you is, look at this. Here it is. Look.
It came up. We saw that penis on your phone for you.
That was muscle. Shut up. It
Yo,
has
trying to put us in
subtitles.
Facebook
And
jail.
when they said it was a coronavirus, people were like, how in the hell did they have that and labeled it COVID-19? You have ships and trains in the train yard that was out a year or two ago called COVID-19. So it's like it makes some of the crap that they do make it so difficult for you to understand the severity of it and make it where you can't help but believe that this was orchestrated. It's real as my hand in front of my face. But how did it get here?
It's orchestrated. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the virus anymore. It's orchestrated though. I'm just trying to figure out why is it being used as a vehicle for something totally like I said. There's an agenda, and the agenda is gonna come out and it's gonna slap us all in the motherfucking face. I'm telling you. Listen, I don't want to keep you people too long. Whatever. Stay with us. Next week let's tap into the homelessness in the black community, homelessness and churches and taxes. Oh shit, we're gonna rub some people the wrong way next week.
oh no, let's do it. I'm here for it.
Before you do it, let me tell you, I am proud that my church, we feed the homeless. We were out there in the braves of the coronavirus.
Y'all didn't give nobody no damn coats in the wintertime.
Which we do. We give out coats. We adopted 2 schools where we give out uniforms, school supplies, and pay
Show me
rent.
the video footage of it then.
I'm part of the committee. I would gladly show you that.
Show me that.
Got
Y'all
it.
ain't doing nothing. Listen,
Got it.
we do.
Got it. Because I will say, not all churches, but I will say my church, we adopted Bancroft and Bayard. And
we're gonna have Minister Eric McDonald on the show with us next week. He's a minister. Let's get his take on what the church is doing for the homelessness.
Minister Mac D.
Minister Mac D is gonna be with us.
Oh,
So let's get into it. Homelessness and what the church is doing about it. Church of Texas. LaShawn, you want to represent your church? Come back next week. We can rock that too. We do it for the culture. Our stories matter. Stay with us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We are here. We are your hosts, Me Lover, Menace, and Tina. Please say goodbye to the people.
Peace out.
LaShawn, we thank you for having to say goodbye to the people.
Hi, LaShawn.
Hi, baby.
Yes,
We're like a Death Row Records album cover right now.
Yo, we are out of here. We do it for the culture. We'll catch y'all next week. 5 minus 4.
Fine.